That's just our style.
We wanted to do something really fun and wacky for London Fashion Week, and I just have these crazy ideas, and I'm so fortunate to have partners that help bring it to life. I went out dressed to Somerset House where all the fashion shows were and essentially walked our own green carpet, and it got a lot of people talking. It performed really well on socials. We just like to do fun things like that.
That's just our style.
I'm Marisa. I'm one of the co-founders of PerfectTed. I'm from New York City, but I moved to London in 2020. I'll take you back to 2015. It was my first day at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. And lo and behold, Teddy was in my advising group. And then I met Levi. I just remember seeing him at this party, and I walked right up to him. I basically was like, hey, you're Teddy's brother, right? And then from there, we were inseparable. I was just addicted to caffeine, crushing Red Bulls, crushing Monsters, double shots of espresso, and it was making me so ill. And I remember a friend had just gone to Japan with her family, and she said, I learned about this type of green tea that has a lot of caffeine, but apparently it's different. It makes you feel better. You don't get jitters, you don't get crashes. I was like, what the hell have I been doing? Because I also have ADHD and crippling anxiety, so obviously that combination of caffeine overload was not helping me. Fast forward to 2020, I was working in real estate private equity and realized that, you know what, I actually really missed Levi, and I wanted to move to London to be with him. So I looked into programs at Imperial Business School. In August of 2020, I became housemates with Levi and Teddy, and pretty immediately, that's when I realized, geez, there's no matcha in the UK. What the hell is going on? And within 45 days, I think, of moving here, we started the business. People always ask, oh, what's it like working with your husband? Oh, that must be challenging. I could never work with my partner. I could not imagine not working with him.
We knew nothing about food and bev with three people who worked in kind of corporate finance, had no idea what we were doing. So getting out to Japan, meeting farmers, trying to understand how to move tons of matcha powder from Japan to the UK was difficult, confusing, lots of mistakes along the way.
We realized the barriers were, one, education. They might not know it's better for them. Two, the taste. A lot of people, the way that they were preparing it, tasted like shit. And that is exactly why we've made a range of products that address those needs.
I don't know if I should admit this, but I did not like matcha before I joined PerfectTed. Once I tried PerfectTed matcha, I realized that I'd actually just had really bad matcha in the past, and now I love it, I'm obsessed with it. They've always acted as if they're already a £1 billion business. They take it so seriously. It didn't matter what the product was, they were gonna make it a success.
When we first came up with the name, I was like, no, because if the brand didn't work, I didn't want all of the expectation to be on me, and I got outvoted 2-1. And now it's the best thing ever.
I say that my name was too good that it was taken by the denim brand. So, the SEO, the trademark wouldn't have been good.
When we started the business, I became a student of brand. And I realized that some of the strongest brands in the world had a really strong association with a color. One of the brand colors, Pantone 2256C, which I'll send to you guys, that is our green. And we had no budget to do anything. And I met Al Barrett, who is the founder of Grenade. And I said, what did you do early on that was just an easy thing? And he said, you wear the fucking t-shirt.
Everything she wears is green. And I think at the beginning it was a branding exercise, but I think now it's just part of her. And it's so recognizable, and we've just really lent into it as a brand. So when you come to our office, you'll see everything is green. People aren't told to wear green, they just really lean into it.
If you're walking around and you're holding your product, you're a walking billboard. So anytime I'm on a stage, anytime I'm at an event, I am literally holding the drink. It doesn't matter what time it is. It could be 10 p.m. in the evening, and everyone points it out. It's like a bit. But what else am I gonna do? I feel from the beginning, our identities were ingrained within the brand. So much of the brand personality and the way that we approach life is our philosophy to life. It's about fun. It's about embracing the positive elements of life and trying to look at the glass half full.
As soon as we had an Instagram account, we got a DM from the buyer at Holland & Barrett and said, hey, do you want to jump on a call? We jumped on a call. We didn't even have a product. We haven't even produced the product at this point. And he says, look, we really like the category of matcha. No one's doing it. We're going to give you 450 stores. And Marisa and I looked at each other being like, we've got no product. We have no idea how we're going to fulfill that. That was the start of the business, really.
We were called by this random number, and Teddy fell out of his chair and he said, Marisa, it's the producers for Dragon's Den. They want us to come on the show. It was the most anxiety-inducing 5 days of my life. Only time we ever ran through our pitch and didn't make a mistake was on the actual show.
Have we got a deal?
Yes, you have a deal.
Yeah, we have a deal.
Oh, amazing.
Thank you, everyone, for the kind feedback.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there is something she wants to achieve, she will find a way to do it. A good example, I think, is like our branding. So she's done all our branding, and now our graphic designer will work with her on it. But at the beginning, it was all Marisa. And so she literally taught herself graphic design and Adobe Photoshop and just did it herself.
With matcha, it's very different. It's been around for over 800 years. But if you look at something like coffee, there's an entire industry and infrastructure around it. But when you think about matcha, there's nothing. So a lot of the process and infrastructure and safety around matcha, we're actually building. And we're working with the Japanese government to build too.
There was a supplier who we've been working with now for a few years, and he said because we've been buying so much matcha from him, it has given him the confidence to not only double down on his fields, but build a new factory entirely.
Having non-drinks experience, I think, has been the #1 reason for our success, because we think outside the box. We don't think like a traditional food and beverage business. Every single person at the beginning who tried to advise us on what the typical path should be gave us advice that we went against.
They will always tell you to start smaller. So they'll say, start in independent, start in some farm shops. We did the complete opposite. We went into Tesco and Holland & Barrett with 400 stores and flipped it on its head, and everyone told us not to do that.
Focusing on the product and understanding like the need for your customer and what is it filling in your customers' lives, because at the end of the day, the product is what is gonna keep people coming back. Instead of focusing purely on D2C, we've approached everything through a retail lens. So allowing the customer to experience the product on shelf. As a result, we don't spend a lot of money on digital ads. In fact, we have practically zero paid media budget. Instead, we prioritize earned first thinking. This looks a lot like stunts. We've done it from the very beginning, like with a fake tube campaign, like our Sabrina Carpenter stunt, where we essentially put our head of marketing in a wig and had one of our ops team accompany her to pick up a matcha latte. It got over 1.5 million views on TikTok.
She's a total visionary when it comes to the brand and the marketing. And so I think it creates this beautiful balance where she is just got this amazing vision, and then Levi and I are thinking, how do we help her execute against that vision? People think that because you're growing super quickly, it means that you don't need money. But what it actually means is that you need more money to grow, and you need it a lot quicker. And we've been able to have a conversation with Wayflyer and said, guys, we need more money, not because we're struggling. We need more money because we've got massive opportunities here. So we would be in deep shit without them, genuinely.
My proudest moment was probably earlier on. I received a message on LinkedIn saying, hi Marisa, you don't know me, but I buy your drinks every day. And I buy them for my wife, who's currently receiving cancer treatment. Your drinks have made her feel human again. I cried when I read that, because that's exactly why we exist. It's to make people feel good. It's to support people in both the highs of their life and some of the lowest lows.
I think a lot of people think the last 12, 24 months of our brand have been crazy. I think the next 12 months are gonna be even crazier. For me, I wanna build a $1 billion brand. I wanna build a unicorn. You know, people may play this back to me and say, you're an idiot for even thinking that, but I genuinely believe we can do that.
I would love to see PerfectTed live on for decades and continue to spread positive energy through making matcha as accessible as possible. It would be truly the honor of a lifetime to have it follow me for the rest of my life.